In this video, you're going to get everything what you need to know to start working with Docker. Firstly, we will talk about what is Docker, what is main Docker components. We'll get to know some Docker registries, how to use them. After that, we'll proceed to Docker practical part. It consists of Docker installation and mini containerization demo. So let's start talking about Docker. Docker is just a system which combines different things in itself to run containers. So basically, it's just mini virtual machines with reduced operation system. So you can just consider them as environments where you can run your mini application like microservices, or how you can see in this little screenshot. I run here Nginx with MySQL. It's just an example how you can run like few containers in a Docker. So when you know what is Docker, we can proceed to talk about containers. Containers are a part of Docker system. They just run your application binary with all the dependency needed in them. And they are built from images, while images are just snapshot of your like working environment. You throw everything in that image and run it and get the container. So images just contain the set of rules which you have already in a container like that. So images are created from Docker file, while Docker file is a set of rule to create an image. You see, as everything is combined in itself. So that's why I call it a Docker system. Docker file is an analogy to Makefile or some other file to build application, but from set of rules. Each Docker file has to start with from layer. It's a base command which every Docker file starts with. After that, you can see some other commands. I will talk about them later. But now you need to know that Docker file just a set of rules to create an image. So let's proceed to the practical part. Starting the practical part, I have set up an Ubuntu server on Amazon, but you can really choose whatever you want. VirtualBox doesn't really matter. You just need a system to install a Docker. So the first thing that I do, I go to Google and search Docker install. The first guide is what I need. It's installation Docker on Ubuntu. First, what I need to do is to get the public IP of the instance, log into it, and first thing that I do on any system that I get into, I update all the mirrors. While mirrors are updating, we can proceed to the documentation. As you see, we install here some dependencies for the Docker needs. The first one is we install some curl and certificates. Yes, agree, everything is agree. After that, we need an official GPG key to download the Docker engine. So just copy the command and paste it in. After that, we need to check how we set up the repository. So we just do the same. Everything should be fine. After that, as we set up the repositories, we need to update the mirrors again. So everything fine. And now we can install Docker engine. In this command, we install in Docker engine, Docker SLI, container D. It's a system which as a dependency helps Docker to run containers. So we just copy this command and run it. It says it will install 414 megabytes on a disk, so make sure you have enough space on your system. And here we go, installation is complete, and we can run the simplest command to check if Docker daemon has started. Sudo systemctl status Docker. As you see, it's up and running, and we can proceed to making calls to the Docker. So sudo docker run hello world. This command is going to get the hello world image and it executed right away. So let's see. As you see, it's finding an image. The first thing that they do, it finding the image locally, but it can't be here because it's fresh install. So we don't have the image. So we are going to pull it from the library hello world and execute it. The execution gave us this text. As you see, it's just a simple hello world from the Docker. So after I install Docker, I usually add my user to Docker group in order to get rid of always running sudo. So to do this, I simply type sudo usermod -ag docker group user. After this command, we need to relog in into the box in order to get it working. So let's do this. Now we can see that it works without the sudo. As you see, I entered some vir command docker pairs. What does it mean? I just simply check what container is running right now and if I have any. And also it have -a flag to show all the containers that have been executed on this machine. As you see, we have hello world, our containers that we previously ran, but Docker has much more useful commands. For example, Docker images or Docker image ls, it doesn't matter. It shows the images that have been pulled onto our local system. After I set up Docker, I want to show you how to create Docker file and build and run containers. So let's start with creating Docker file. Docker file. The first thing that we need is to define the image which we'll use as a base to run our build from. After that, we need to create a work directory for application. I will use user sorts up, but you can use whatever you want. And after that, I need to copy the files from my local server to the image. So I just write the copy command, as simple as that. And I want to copy package JSON. I use this star to declare that I need to copy both node modules, package log.json and package.json. I don't need to copy node modules because I'm going to run a command npm install in the container. So it will execute an npm install command to install node modules. And after that, I copy again a file server.js, which will execute with command cmd to start running the web server. It's just weird a little bit syntax. You need to open brackets and each command, each word should be in double quotes and comma should be between each of the words. So that's it. Let's see again what we have in this Docker file. We have a base layer, it's the first one. After that we have a working directory. We copy the package.json into the working directory. After that we run npm install command and we copy all the rest files that we need to run the container with. After that we run cmd command in order to run the server on the first run. So let's save it and proceed with building it. So to build a Docker file into image, we simply need to run docker build command, and note that this dot says that we build the Docker file in this directory. So you should have the path to the Docker file all the time. Also, you can add some tags if you wanted to. I will add Node.js web server in order to simply find my image, and I add column1 to declare that it's version 1. Actually, I can add a v in order to be better understand that it's version 1. So run it and it start building the container. First scene was it loads a Docker file. After that it downloads a Node.js image. It's going to take some time from you, but I have already built this, so it took everything from cache, and you see that everything was just in few seconds. Like you see the seconds, like 0.1, 3 in 3 seconds we installed the npm modules. After that, we need to run this web server. How to do this? To run a web server, to run a container, I type docker run. I'm exposing a port. I publish it from 8080 to 8080 on my machine. Note that the first port is the container port, and the second is host machine port. And after this, I need to specify the image. As you see here, we tagged it Node.js web server v1. So let's run it and see if it actually works. It says it's running on this IP, but we are going to get the public IP address and check if it actually works. As you see, it sent our response, hello world from Docker. So it was the container. We just run the container, and as you see, it now working and getting some results. So to stop this container, I can simply press Ctrl C, and I need to wait some time because I haven't run it in the dash mode. If you see this issue that it won't stop, you can just go keys, SSH, simply log in into the server again and run docker ps, and here you can kill the container by forcing to remove it. Now it fully stopped, and now you don't see the web page. After we finished work with our containers, we can delete an image. To delete an image, we simply should look up our images, and we run docker rmi, stands for removing images. After that, we specify the image name and tag to delete an image. Fun fact, you can even mine crypto using Docker containers. Thank you for watching, and see you the next time.